Right. Hi, Clive.
Hi Graham, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Always
Good.
good.
Good. So here we are again, five with Clive. Now on episode three. In the last episode, we were talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol. If you haven't seen it, go and check that out. Uh, but now we're going to be talking about movement of goods, and this week specifically EU to GB movements, imports. So yeah, if do you want to take us through the changes and the requirements?
Yeah, thanks, Graham. I will. Again, this is a significant change yeah, as a result of the UK leaving the EU and the end of the transition period. So we'll make this as kind of high level as we can without driving into too much of the granular detail, Graham, because obviously, that can be provided on online guidance, advice that we can provide, and also HMRC can provide. But just to give an overview, really, to members and traders, is that the big change 1st of January on imports is that imports or movements from the EU will require customs procedures, and be subjected to customs procedures. So the procedures we see and the requirements we see around rest of the world imports, those requirements will flow on to EU imports. So those arrivals become imports. And I think that's absolutely a critical element that members and traders need to appreciate, that these are EU imports from the 1st of January and require a customs declaration.
Okay.
And what that means is where they haven't needed to engage with an agent. So we know in our excise world, that goods can move under duty suspension from EU into and through the UK border without the requirement of customs procedures. They flow on excise under the excise regime and can get to their approved premises, UK excise warehouse, supported by the EMCS system and EAD movement with commercial documentation. So what we see 1st of January is that a movement into the UK from the EU, and it could be any one of those, what will be 27 member states that are left in the EU bloc, is that an export declaration is required out of that EU member state. Now, I'm not going to go into the detail of that this evening, but members will need to appreciate that an export declaration is required out of the EU bloc. We then have to and they will have to make a import declaration as of the 1st of January. Now, because we're dealing with controlled goods, excise goods, that will need to be a full declaration. And once that declaration is made, they will then need to engage with a registered consignor to create the EMCS movement from the port to the excise warehouse of destination. Now, these are obviously excise goods, which are controlled goods. Other goods would not be subjected to those excise requirements, and they would be subjected, obviously, to an import declaration. Okay, and moving the goods into free circulation in UK free circulation in simple terms. Okay. So we need to distinguish between the two there, Graham.
All right, that's fine. So there's obviously different levels of control depending on the goods that you're moving.
Yes, there are. And that's the plan from the 1st of January. That there's a phased implementation as well. So what we've got 1st of January, GVMS, we touched on it on our last discussion with regards to Northern Ireland. That comes in 1st of January. GVMS for imports does not take effect until 1st of July. Okay.
Right. Okay.
So that's something to remember as well. So that's delayed and phased implementation of GVMS. So that's not an immediate requirement. The key element for our members and traders really is to engage with their supply chain, engage with their suppliers first and foremost, to make sure that they are purchasing on the right trade terms. So clarity is understood and clarity is brought to make sure that their supplier, is clear they're doing the export declaration from the EU, that the owner who will become the owner of the goods, our members say, are responsible for the import declaration into the UK. And they need to do that, in my view, to gain control of the process and bring certainty around the supply chain. So they need to engage with their supplier to get the right and agree the right trade terms, as we call, also known as Incoterms, for sure. Need to employ an agent. I do not recommend that agents, and I've done in the past, obviously commented on that on previous sessions. Do not try and do this yourself. Employ an expert. I do stress that. And HMRC are saying, yeah, we can create scenarios where, or systems where you can do this yourself. I would not recommend that. Stick to employing an agent who knows what he's doing, and it can affect that clearance for you in a right and proper manner and accurate manner. So that's also a key element. And also, make sure your haulier is up to date with the requirements. So they know GVMS isn't required for us to Jan. It's going to be July, but they need to be aware of that. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not looking for something they need not do initially. So I think it's engagement with supply chain. So everybody in that supply chain understands what their part to play in that process, and they do play their part in that process to make sure that movement is unfettered as it can be, because I think we're going to have the capacity at UK borders where I see congestion being an issue, which is a major concern to traders, and you see it in the press and on the media platforms. Is that, and I see the consequence or the cause of that more to do about people's understanding of requirements than it is about capacity. Yeah.
Okay.
And then movements will be stopped because they haven't followed the due process. That's the reality, and where pre-lodgement of imports, I believe, is going to be a requirement. You need to make sure your agent has done that, or if it's your supplier having to do that, they've done that. So you can do everything you need to at the UK import or the UK port. Has your supplier done everything they needed to at the EU port of exit or departure? And it's that joined up thinking, discussion, agreement, clarity that's required to ensure your goods flow into the UK as you want them, when you want them.
Excellent. Well, hopefully that was helpful to everyone who's watching. We do have more information on movement of goods between Great Britain and Northern Ireland on the BWA website, which is www.thebwa.com. I'm sure we'll be happy to help if you have any questions. So, yeah, we'll see you on the next session.
Will do. And just the other thing to mention, Graham, is that HMRC's website is a great source of information. So use that. And use that as a source of info. But by all means, absolutely visit our website, as you've said, and reach out to us if you need to. Obviously, to yourself, in terms of got any questions or need any clarity around, Brexit in general, or as we discussed last week about the Northern Ireland movements, or this week as we're discussing about EU imports into the UK, then please reach out to us, via our email address. And obviously you'll be able to capture those emails and distribute them to our knowledgeable committee, who will be able to, obviously more than pleased to help and support any members.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, good stuff.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Clive.
Pleasure.
See you at the next one.
Pleasure as always. Yeah. You take care. See you soon.
All the best.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.